Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Madisonville Marine, madmarine.com to learn more about them. The fishing show coming to the Knoxville Expo Center on January 21st through the 24th. Mad Marine will be there with more than 20 models of boats, rebates of up to $1,500 on certain makes of Skeeter, up to $2,000 on certain makes of G3 boats. Madisonville Marine, there is no better place to buy a boat. And between the 21st and 24th of January, that place to buy a boat is right here in Knoxville at the Expo Center at the fishing show, Madisonville Marine. All right. Last Sunday, we asked why make a change with John Jancic. I want to show a quick comparison of the last 5 seasons of these two guys in a number of areas. When you're looking at Jancic, you see a little line. That's total defense. That's where their teams had, that's their national rank. And you can see this year, Shoup, Penn State was 14th, Jancic 36, not bad. Jancic was 37th for Tennessee last year. Shoup was number 2 with Penn State. The little line there, that's when he moved from Vanderbilt to Penn State. Number 23, number 19, number 18 at Vanderbilt. He's had 5 top 23 defenses in a row in terms of yardage allowed. Better than Jancic on that front. Let's look at scoring defense. There we go. Jancic, a little better this year. Shoup, better last year and in 2013, about the same in 2012. Jancic holds the edge in 2011. Again, those are pretty small numbers aside from the 734 and 4479. But the next ones are very interesting here. Last 5 seasons, in terms of total sacks, Jancic his teams have recorded 159. Shoup has recorded 163. Takeaways, it's 129 for Jancic, 120 for Shoup's defenses, interestingly enough. Penn State, however, this past year, 20 forced fumbles. That led the nation in forced fumbles. Why make the move? Why is there more to it than just Jancic? It's been reported that Butch simply wanted to upgrade his staff. Okay. Do you think there's more to it?
Well, I think you could probably make the argument, and you and I have talked about this, that Tennessee was very, very close to losing 2 more football games this year. Georgia and Carolina. So if you take away the 1 loss total and the improvement that you made, and the defense was getting better, I think they passed the eye test, you were still in situations where it just about got away from you again. And you let it get away from you in 4 other games where you had the lead. So I think that had to weigh in on the decision quite a bit.
Anything else aside from on the field? I just wonder if these guys have been together for a long time. It always makes me wonder if there's something, and we'll never know, interpersonal relationships. Has something changed behind the scenes? Because to me it does seem, I'm all for guys upgrading their staffs. You look at guys like Saban and Majors, they've done it that way. They move guys in and out. But I just wonder if there's something more to this year, the way it went down and why. Any thoughts on that, anyone?
I'll just say what I said on our sports talk show. He wasn't fired for his coaching. There were other issues.
There you go. Okay. Not going to get into details?
Nope.
No dirt?
Nope.
All right. Very good. All right.
But we can all sit there and guess.
I mean, I don't even think the on-field. I don't even think the on-field stuff was 50% of the decision.
I don't either.
I don't either. I mean, and I really don't. I think it was maybe even 80% off-field stuff.
It is a very tough, cold business. I mean, and here's the other thing about this business. There is no such thing as loyalty in any direction. Schools to coaches, coaches to schools, head coaches to assistants, vice versa, coaches to players, vice versa. Doesn't exist. I mean, a week and a half ago, go read the quotes from Bob Shoup about staying at Penn State. Oh, I hope they'll keep me forever and ever and ever. I don't want to leave. Bang, welcome to Knoxville.
Yeah, Nick
Saban, in town, so welcome.
Nick Saban is still at Miami. Yeah. Nick Saban is still coaching the Miami Dolphins too.
Yeah. The thing about Shoup is he's willing to pay the buyout, or somebody's going to release it. That's what gets me. Yeah. You had a chance to go to LSU and Auburn, and so you take the Tennessee job for, from what I was told, less money than what you could have got. And there's the buyout that Tennessee's not going to cover. That's pretty interesting to me.
You know, you also have to factor in the fact in his thinking. There's also no state income tax in Tennessee, so when you're making the kind of money he's going to be making, that doesn't hurt. And he's been in Tennessee. He has ties in the mid-state in terms of his recruiting. But yes, that still is a very interesting situation. Good tease, or good transition into our numbers here in terms of money. A lot of people have been saying this week that Dave Hart won't hire him because he's too cheap. Well, $1.15 million is what you're going to see this year going toward Bob Shoop. That's time. He'll also do that for a 3-year deal. So 1.1. He's the most expensive assistant on the UT staff. Tennessee's also going to have to pay about $500,000 in buyout to Jancic. So this year they'll be spending about $1.6 million on defensive coordinators. If Jancic doesn't get another job somewhere, that would start to cut into that. The $850,000 Jimmy buyout to Penn State, as Jimmy was talking about, that's on Shoop. Shoop's got to work something out there. Gentlemen, I thought this was interesting. A lot of people on Twitter were talking about Dave Hart being cheap. I asked the question, who haven't they gotten because he was cheap? There's no answer. It's just more people saying, he's trying to find somebody at Walmart. He's using coupons. And it's pushing a false narrative. They went after Gundy and Strong. Those are not going to be cheap hires. Mm-hmm. He didn't cheap it out on Rick Barnes. I haven't seen them go cheap. No one would have given John Gruden what he was asking for. So to me, it seems a little ridiculous. And the bigger thing here is, what does everybody call him? Bama Dave? What school spends like crazy on football, invests in its football programs? Seems to me the Bama Dave would be a good thing. I think that the cheap stuff, it's time to put the kibosh on that. Am I on an island on that one?
I agree with you. And go ahead, Bob.
Well, I was about to say, I think you can trace it back to doing away with the women's athletic department. Because when that was happening, they talked about we're going to save money, we're going to save money, we're going to save money. Tennessee was one of the last schools, if not the last major school, to have 2 athletic departments. And so did that. You come in, that's one of the first things you do. Does that set the tone? You're talking about saving money, and you do away with something that in Tennessee was kind of a cherished.
Well, that's people not understanding what he was doing then.
That was already going before he got here, though.
It was coming down.
I think it goes to the hiring of Dooley, because people looked at that. Here's the thing, and you know
that was Hamilton.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess I should say. Well, okay. Never mind. That's not a good point.
Sorry, I caught you.
Yeah, that's a bad point. But here's what I was going to say about Hart was that what did they pay Sinceri? Now it was an awful hire, but you paid a defensive coordinator $800,000 to bring him in here, right? So what does that say about your willingness to pay for somebody? I guess in general, when they hired Dooley, I heard a lot of they went on the cheap. And that was aimed at Hamilton.
And it's
it was
carried
an athletic
over.
department thing, yeah. But if you're willing to pay a defensive coordinator who failed, but you paid him $800,000 a year for 3 years, you only got one, but you're willing to pay that much for a defensive coordinator, you're not going cheap.
Yeah, I think the Dooley thing works in terms of creating an overall feel about, there's a perception that Tennessee's always on the cheap. They make moves toward big guys every time they go on one of these hiring junkets. They can't get them here. It's not about not offering the money. Chuck, your thoughts on cheapskate Dave Hart?
To Jimmy's point, I think it's the perception of the person sitting in that chair, whether it was Hamilton or whoever it is. And also, you have Tennessee fans out there. Just open your checkbook and write a check, and we'll win a championship. And that isn't always the case.
Yeah, well, I'm never going to write my own check. Somebody else needs to write their check. Is the way it goes. To me, the guy comes from Alabama who started this wave of expanded contracts and money. Alabama. You also haven't had a lot of money when he got here. Right. Now he's getting money.
Reserves,
You've got the SEC network coming in. Football is making money again. All of a sudden, you got some cash. I think they're going to invest it. He's shown that he will. It was a real disservice by those in the media, especially those in the media who were joking about Dave Hart. You were pushing a false narrative, which in my book is lying. So when we come back, we'll talk Tennessee basketball with Mark Pancratz. Tons more football to come. Come on back on the Sports Source.
From East Tennessee to the Carolinas, no job is too big for Benedict Construction. Patios and decks, custom remodels, even custom homes. With a reputation for excellence, rely on the custom work of Benedict Construction.